takeaways and see what 5 things we can take away from that draw at Man City yesterday. And yes, you guessed it, number 1 is the DEKIHAD.
Yeah, and obviously Kulusevski stole the show yesterday, not only with his late equaliser, but had a brilliant game overall with his in playing centrally and playing out wide, was a massive threat to Man City throughout the game. And that makes it now, for him at the Etihad, it's 3 goals in his 3 appearances at the Etihad. And overall, it's 5 goal contributions in 3 games at the Etihad as well. So really steps up when he goes away to Man City. Just I don't know what it is about it, but he just licks his lips whenever he goes to the Etihad. Remember, he made his debut there as well, getting a goal and assist, or first start, I should say. But as well, yesterday, it wasn't just out wide when Spurs were playing well, I should say, that he played well. I thought even in the first half, when Tottenham were having a difficult time, he was one of the only players still like brave enough to take the ball, ask questions of Man City and create some opportunities for us. And I thought both centrally and on the right had a really, really strong game and deservedly ended the day with a goal and an assist.
Yeah, absolutely. He was sublime yesterday. Unplayable when he's in that mood. Last 2 games now, moving into the centre of the midfield, and I think that he's much better off for it. I think he's better in those positions than he is out on the right hand side. I want him to stay in that position for the foreseeable future now, because he just impacts game in such a great way. His ball retention is unbelievable. It's so hard to get the ball off him. He's so strong in those areas of the pitch as well. So it's just great to see that Dejan Kulusevski putting in these kind of performances, because he was kind of splitting the fan base, wasn't he, before these 2 games? A lot of people saying, oh, he's not impacting the game enough, he's playing poorly. A lot of people saying, well, he's still doing a great job for the team and playing really well. I was kind of somewhere in the middle. I think you were kind of on the good side of the spectrum. But I think that since moving into the centre, I don't think anyone's split anymore, because I think everyone is just in kind of unison saying what a player he is and what performances he's having. So he just needs to carry on in this mold, doesn't he?
100%. And yeah, I am and it just gives us more options. And the fact that we now see him as an option centrally, just make and his versatility is only going to benefit us.
Moving on to number 2, and that is Son, the City killer.
Yeah. He's got a great record against City, doesn't he? And in his last 8 games against Man City, that's 7 goal contributions for Man. And this is the Man City team, how many leagues they've won, over the last few years, and how many games they've won, treble winners, and yet 7 goal contributions in the last 8 games. He just loves playing against Man City, Heung-min Son. But overall, really strong showing. Obviously got a goal and an assist on the day, but 2 key passes. He won 3 of his 3 ground duels, completed 2 of his 2 dribbles as well, completed 1 of his 1 aerial duel as well, which not bad from Sonny. And I just thought overall, like, we know he's a brilliant goal scorer and he's got amazing finishing ability, but I'm just loving watching him develop his overall play and develop his build-up play, and he's becoming an all-round striker. And some of his, as I said, some of his passes yesterday, that there was this 1 half volley pass out wide to Deki, which was a pass you would have seen from Harry Kane, in his time at Tottenham sometimes. And I'm just loving how Sonny's developing in the central role, and I think he's doing a really fine job of it. And that's now 9 Premier League goals this season. So he's doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, he is doing a fantastic job. And this is what we've been saying all season. What do elite players do? As they get older, they kind of figure out new ways of how to play the game. And that's exactly what he's doing, We needed him to kind of evolve in this way for us to really kick on this season, because on the left-hand side, he was kind of not doing it as he used to. He's not the same player as he used to be, essentially. And I think that since moving into the middle, we're much better off for it. He keeps kind of growing in stature within the team. His leadership ability, his pressing ability is still there, and his link-up play is getting stronger and stronger as the season progresses. So Heung-min Son is an absolute phenomenon, and Man City and the likes of Man City and Liverpool must be just sick to the sight of him, to be honest, at this stage. And I'm all here for it. So Captain Marvel and Heung-min Son keeps getting him better and better, and what a season he's having so far. So I can't wait to see how the season carries on to unfold for him, to be honest. But let's move on to number 3, and that is the second half switch up.
Yeah, and so there's no secret. First half, we massively struggled. I think all the stats bear out as well when it looks at how we improved in that second half. First half, we conceded 1.648 XG. We only had 38% possession. We had 2 shots out of the whole half as well. And we only had 0.1 XG as well, which obviously most of it came from that goal from Son. But we did make the change at half-time. We brought Højbjerg on, we took Hill off, and the stats completely switched. We had 55% possession. We outpassed Man City. We had more shots on target than Man City as well. And their Man City's XG went down from 1.64 to about 0.9, so restricting them a lot more for the chance they were creating. It wasn't like a completely dominant display, but I think the difference that it made was massive. It was a big difference, but I wouldn't say we went from getting absolutely battered to battering them, but it just went from getting battered to being in slightly advantage, which is against Man City is not easy to do. They're one of the hardest teams to play against when they're winning as well, Man City. So the fact that we came back twice against them is very, very impressive. So
let's be honest, it's about as dominant a display you can have at the Etihad. Yeah, pretty much.
To be fair, that's a fair point. So I thought we did brilliant that second half to turn things around, and that's only going to give the team more confidence going forward.
Yeah, Ange would have been absolutely distraught of what he saw in that first half. The way we kept going long, and we just weren't playing how we have been all season, to be honest, and we came under increasing pressure. Man City missed a host of gilt-edged chances, which, on another day it could have been 4-1, to be honest, at half-time. But it wasn't. It was only 2-1. We were still in the game at half-time, and Ange laid into them at half-time. He must have done, because we were just a completely different team in the second half. We stuck to our principles in that second half, or we got back to our principles, let me say that. And we were much better off for it. Yeah, Man City still had their moments in the second half, but I think the way we played, we can only be proud of how the team played in that second half when we got it back to 3-3. And yeah, it was a bit fortuitous of how we did get back into the game, or it's a bit fortuitous that we did get back into the game, but I think that we earned that luck with the way we kind of played in that second half. So big credit to Ange Postecoglou and the team for knuckling down and keep going and keep going and keep going and getting that result. But let's move on to number 4, and that is Lo Celso's redemption arc.
Yeah, and another start for Lo Celso, and another really strong showing from him. And obviously he got the equaliser with a brilliant finish in that second half, cutting inside on the edge of the box, showing his quality. But some pretty decent stats as well. He won 3 of his 5 ground duels. He completed 100% of his passes. He didn't misplace a single pass. And considering you're playing against a Man City team who are hounding you, you got players like Rodri and Bernardo Silva, in very close proximity, and it's difficult. They're one of the best pressing teams there is, and the fact that they're trying to win the ball off you, and Lo Celso had the confidence and the quality to not only complete every pass, but also play a number of progressive passes as well, and get the ball forward into dangerous positions, and also stepped up and getting that equaliser as well. Brilliant showing from Giovanni Lo Celso, and I'm just all here for him getting back to what we know he can show, and I'm just so happy that he's starting to show in the Spurs shirt what we know he's capable of, and hopefully, look, I'm hoping this is the start of him winning, proving he has a future at Tottenham. I do still question whether is he going to be in the long-term future of Tottenham. We'll have to wait and see. But I'm just loving how he's playing right now, and he's really helping us while we got a lot of injuries.
Yeah, and to be honest, like on Lo Celso in the future and his future at Tottenham, like with the quality that it is only 2 games, so you got to say that it is only 2 games. But if he can show this consistently whenever he is on the pitch from now until the end of the season, I'll have no problems with giving him that new contract and having him and Maddison fight out for that spot, or even have him and Maddison in the team together. I don't think that's beyond all realms of possibility either. So I think if he can carry on this rich vein of form and show this consistently over the course of a season, then there's no reason why we shouldn't be offering him that contract.
If Deki and Lo Celso can play together, why not Maddison?
Yeah, 100%. So I think it's brilliant. And when you're looking at Lo Celso and Maddison, what they both do really great, which I don't get enough credit for, is coming deep and winning the ball back time and time again and being tenacious in that middle of the park. So I completely agree. I don't see why they can't play in the same team. But let's move on to the 5th and final takeaway, and that is consistent Porro.
Yeah, and another really strong showing from Pedro Porro. And a lot of the discussion before the game was how was Porro going to handle Jeremy Doku on that left-hand side, on City's left-hand side. And he said before the game, what was he quoted as saying? He said, look, it's obvious I'm not going to have a day off, but neither is he. And I think he proved that yesterday. He won 4 of his 7 ground duels. He drew 2 fouls. He made 2 tackles. And he was dribbled past 0 times, especially up against Jeremy Doku, which is very, very impressive. And look, there's no secret that Doku definitely gave us trouble. But I thought a lot of the time that was when Porro was maybe caught inverted and caught out of position, and other players had to come out and go towards Doku, and that's when we had a lot of trouble. Actually, when Doku found himself up against Porro one-on-one, Porro actually performed really admirably and was making some really good tackles, showed his strength. But where I was really impressed with Porro was his build-up play and his ability to find really clever passes in between the lines when we're trying to build up from the back. And I just think he's definitely our most creative passer when it comes to that element of the play. And I just thought another really strong showing at the Etihad from Porro.
Yeah, absolutely spot on. And also, I felt like he did a lot of good work trying to help Emerson at right back as well when Emerson was found wanting a little bit. But Pedro Porro, I think he's been our most consistent performer this season alone. So, in my opinion, he's our performer, man of the season so far, player of the season so far. I can't sing his praises enough, to be honest. And when you cast your mind back to when he first joined us, that debut against Leicester, and he's just been growing and growing in stature since then, pretty much, because by the end of the season, we were seeing him in much more of a positive light, and now we're seeing him as one of the most consistent performers in a Spurs shirt this season, so I can't give him enough credit.
Yeah, and I agree with that, and you know what, while we were doing the preview, we did a bit of a panel show, and people were still like talking about Porro as if he's this defensive liability. I think it was him, but I don't think he was the only one. But like, it just really like perplexed me. It was like, I don't know who you've been watching the whole season. Like, Porro just hasn't been a liability defensively this whole season. So I think after this display now against Doku, it's time to put that to bed.
Yeah, and like, he keeps getting asked questions time and time again against Liverpool, against Arsenal, against all these big teams. And he's performed stellar in every single one of those games.
100%.
So big up to Pedro Porro. That is our 5 takeaways. If we've missed anything out or you think there's anything else to talk about, let us know your takeaways in the comments section